You're listening to The Raw Reaction on the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
Angry Tensai with my main man, Big Dick. Big Dick, how you doing tonight, buddy?
Dude, I am doing swell, brother. I am doing swell. I got a trip to God's country coming up very soon. So, needless to say, I've had an erection for the last week.
What are you going to be doing in the great city of Bayville, New Jersey?
I am going to be drinking beers, banging chicks, and taking names.
Oh my goodness. Well, that's beautiful. Will you be thinking about wrestling while you're down there?
I probably won't stop thinking about wrestling.
Will you be thinking about Vinny Rue when you're down there?
Dude, I may listen to him. Well, wait, no, I think I'm driving up. I might listen to him on my drive up to Jersey.
So you would potentially pick Vinny Rue over listening to Stevie J and friends on Thursday Night AMP on your podcast?
You know what? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. That's a tough question. That's a question that could end up with this show mysteriously not making the air.
There are some people who think Raw Reaction is on death row as it is, but I know that in my heart of hearts, I would listen to Thursday Night AMP on the way home. That's what I would listen to. Anyway, I gotta say, I'm gonna tell you something I was thinking of, and I know we keep coming back to Vinny Rue, but there's a reason I bring up Vinny Rue, and I gotta tell you something that I noticed. Vinny Rue has been talking about how WWE just continuously does matches, and they haven't been doing build-up, and he used an example last week of utilizing the cliffhanger to get attention in the show. Literally, and then 5 nights later on Monday Night Raw, we get one of the biggest cliffhangers of the year, which I gotta say I'm very, very interested in. For those of you who don't know what it is, well, Kurt Angle apparently has been exposed, and he has some sort of thing that he needs to reveal next week on Raw that could cost him his job. And it's already known, so he wants to go and do it Monday night and get it over with. So at first we didn't know exactly what it was. Announcer Corey Graves, who apparently is a confidant of his, he was on the phone with somebody and he said to them, listen, we can do this together. We have nothing to be ashamed of. This might cost me my family. This might cost me my job, but I need to come clean with this, and I will be there with you on the national stage, and we're going to do it together next week. I'm going to tell you something, and I'm going to give you my thought in a second. I know you're eating right now because we can all hear you, but I guess I want to ask you what you thought of the idea of the cliffhanger before I tell you what I think is going to happen.
I tune in to see what that's going to happen, and that'll probably happen in the last 5 minutes of Raw.
That is exactly what Vinny Rue said you should do with the cliffhanger, and I find it very weird that 5 nights later, Monday Night Raw did do that. I'm telling you, I think they're listening to a show, dude. Because a lot of things he's been saying to do, all of a sudden the things are happening.
Yeah, it's like push gender. Don't give away good matches.
Well, I mean, they're talking. They talked about the Attitude Era on the show this week. It was really weird. But anyway, I'll tell you what I think is going to happen. It's going to blow you away, and I don't like what's going to happen. So 2 of the popular rumors, and this is not what I think is going to happen. 2 of the popular rumors are, number 1, it's going to be Dixie Carter because of where they're going to be next week, which would be awesome. I actually wish it was Dixie Carter because...
Where are they going to be, Nashville?
Yeah, I don't know how the hell they would explain who Dixie Carter is on WWE TV. So that could be really interesting, especially given she's not associated with them anymore. So I would love to see that, but I don't think that's going to happen. A lot of popular money it's going to be Stephanie McMahon, and that would be awesome, piggybacking off the love story that never really came to be from 2001 to 2002, where Kurt Angle and Stephanie McMahon were really close friends. So they've always had the tension there. They even teased it again in 2003 when she took over SmackDown. So it should be interesting to see if it's her. But I'm going to tell you something, and I hate what I'm thinking. I think Kurt Angle is a guy who would do anything for a laugh. I think Kurt Angle is a guy who would do anything for the company. And I think Kurt Angle would go along with anything because he's so happy to be in the WWE. I think, and by the way, one other thought is Chad Gable from SmackDown may be his son. I don't think that's going to happen. But
that sounds tacky.
What I think is going to happen, I think it's going to be a man that he comes out with.
Really?
I do.
Interesting. You know what? I think I've heard a Dixie Carter rumor. I think it'd be cool if they did a Dixie Carter rumor, and she brought along with her the TNA stable: Robert Roode, James Storm, Samoa Joe, Angle. I'm trying to think of who else. There's a couple more guys.
Well, they don't have Storm more, and they just released Austin Aries. Surprising.
I thought they had Storm.
They did, but he's back in Global now, and then they released Austin Aries, which is surprising.
You know what? I don't think they were doing a good job. I hated seeing Aries because Aries is a fucking awesome wrestler, awesome gig, but he sucked in WWE. He sucked. He just couldn't get over, I don't think. He looked fucking tacky.
They exposed him. I mean, he was a really good announcer. I mean, he was really good behind the desk, but for some reason, that didn't really translate when he had a mic on stage. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I definitely felt like his best work was behind the stage, and I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a great worker. I mean, but it just didn't seem to. I don't know. It just didn't seem to work when he was actually in the ring trying to have personality.
Yeah, well, I'm interested to see who it'll be. But what do you think it'll be?
I'd like to see that'd be cool because the thing is, we don't have stables anymore.
I agree.
And stables are fun, and like think about it. You have Robert Roode, Kurt Angle, Samoan Joe.
Trying
to think who else we have. Was it Drifter in Eric Young in NXT?
Elias Sampson was not, but boy, I mean
Eric Young. I mean there's like 4 or 5. There's probably 1 or 2 I'm missing. I mean right there between Angle, Rude, Joe, and Eric Young, that's a pretty good stable to start off with. Those 4. And probably, I'm sure there's at least 1 or 2 more than I'm just not thinking of.
I think Killer Kev is concerned about Russia.
Dude, I think everybody's concerned about Russia, except for people who...
Can I tell you something?
Are not concerned about Russia. I'd love to go vacation in Russia.
I'm just going to throw this out there. Vladimir Putin said that they did not interfere in the elections. You know what? If he said that, that's good to me. If he says he didn't do it, that's enough for me. Okay.
He's never lied to me before.
He's never lied. You got to take a man on his word. Good enough for me, man. That's all I have to say. So, what else do I want to say? We got the Hardys tonight. It's a big one everybody's talking about. I really liked Jeff saying, we can't beat Sheamus and Cesaro, so maybe we should just fade away and become obsolete. And then
hey, you know what? The Hardys could be in that clique too.
If they did something like that, I mean, honestly, the TNA obviously clearly had a pretty damn good roster.
Oh yeah.
Jeez.
I mean, you figure you have the Hardys, Rude, Eric Young, Samoa Joe, and Kurt Angle. That's a hell of a stable right there.
I'm with you.
But we'll see. I'm sure WWE will fuck it up, maybe like Hornswoggle or something.
Well, the Hardy brothers, they were teasing being broken, but they're not quite there yet. Gallows and Anderson cut them off and said they're going to take them out, and they did.
They called them nerds, too. They called them nerds.
They call everybody nerds. They essentially cleanly beat the Hardys, which I guess is another step to them being broken. I was really surprised by that. And then right as Gallows and Anderson are done, and they clearly cleanly beat the Hardys, the Revival comes out for no other reason than to destroy the Hardys who are already beaten, and they leave. Not really understanding that.
Yeah. I don't know. I almost feel like the Revival could be sort of like the cool, almost like the Brock Lesnar of tag teams, like sort of the cool, edgy heels that people want to see win. Because, I mean, you look at the tag teams in at least Raw right now. Hardys are faces. You have Gallows, Anderson as heels. Cesaro, Sheamus as heels. Revival. I almost think it could be sort of like a tweener heel face, but more ass-kicking team.
Well, let me ask you this: Who do you think should be the number one contender to Brock Lesnar?
To be honest, based on what I saw at Great Ball of Fire, I would have to say Strowman. But I'm not sure, based on what we saw last night, or the other night, I'm not sure that they're gonna trust Strowman to run with it right now, to have a one-on-one match with him.
I love what you just said, and I think you are right. In my opinion, it has to be Braun Strowman. I was shocked that Samoan Joe, yes, you heard me right, Samoan Joe came out and said, Samoan Joe that is, came out and said, you survived me last night, which I must have watched a different match. I mean, he did hit the coquina clutch on him, couldn't put him away. He cheap-shotted Brock and was beating on him for about 3 or 4 minutes, but then Brock suplexed him 10 times and F5'd him and beat him. Wouldn't say Samoan Joe escaped Brock, but for some reason Samoan Joe, who lost clean last night, is asking for another match. And then Roman Reigns, who lost to Braun Strowman clean last night, wants a match. So I don't understand why the two guys that were named number one contender qualifiers for a one-on-one match by Kurt Angle both lost their matches last night. Why are they the two that...
Because they trade wins and losses, man. You should know that.
But it's ridiculous.
It's 50-50 booking. And it's terrible. It's terrible.
Well, I don't know if you know...
I disagree. I disagree with it. I thought, to be honest with you, out of all of the matches we've seen since Lesnar's come back, Joe probably looked the best in defeat at the hands of Lesnar.
Well, I think
it was believable that he was going to win based on the way he performed.
Yeah, well, I got to tell you, Brock was good on the mic, and I will say this, Samoan Joe was awesome on the mic, too. I liked the intensity the two were going at each other with. I was actually really surprised how good the mic work was. Both of them were amazing, and Roman Reigns looked pretty bad next to them, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's never been great on the mic anyway, and to have two guys like that just fucking intense and going at it, I mean, he was gonna get overshadowed one way or the other, and he just got in between them and Heyman. I mean, it was just he had no shot.
I mean, it can't be Samoan Joe again, can it?
Well, no. What I've seen, they're going to do a 4-way match.
With what? With Strowman?
Samoan Joe, Strowman, Reigns, and Lesnar.
I do love that we call him Samoan Joe, by the way.
It's like the Samoan Girl Scout cookies.
Have you had Samoans?
Oh, yeah.
What do you like best about Samoans?
They melt in your mouth.
Do Samoan wrestlers melt in your mouth?
I do not know.
What'd you think about the what do you mean? What does it say? What do you think of the women's piece tonight?
I don't know. To be honest with you, I went to the bathroom during this spot. It wasn't anything spectacular. I feel like the Charlotte Flair was really holding the women's division together. And, I mean, don't get me wrong, I know you love Alexa Bliss. I actually like Alexa Bliss.
I think she's a better champion than Charlotte was. The problem is Charlotte ran through all the new faces, and we learned more about their characters when they're facing Charlotte. So you're watching the same old people without Charlotte fighting Alexa Bliss. So Alexa Bliss is basically going back through the circuit that Charlotte went through. So you're basically seeing everything rehashed that Charlotte's already been through. It's not Alexa Bliss.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. And the thing is, if you actually look at it, Alexa Bliss, like Charlotte, she might have the pedigree. She might be the best female wrestler, probably. But Alexa Bliss is actually the first one to win championships on both Raw and SmackDown. Dude, and she also has probably
music. I know.
I love her. Have I said that before? Like 8 times?
You've said it 6 weeks in a row, Vic.
Okay. I feel like I haven't said it.
And what I'm worried about, I know I give you attitude every week for you saying you love Alexa Bliss's music, which I do too, but I'm starting to worry that you're developing Alzheimer's. I'm very worried. I don't want you to, because I want you to remember all the great times we've had. I mean, we've done so many great things together, and if you're forgetting all these things,
we've probably done about 200 episodes of Raw Reaction. Those they all blur together.
Those I'd rather forget. Oh my goodness. But when we started on Raw Reaction, we had the chat room, man. I miss that. I miss the chat room, guys. I'm going to tell you right now, for those listening, man, I think you should email the Raw Reaction people to bring back the chat room, because we had a couple of very loyal people. I remember all their names. We had Monday Night Yawn, Captain New Japan, my main man. Who else do we have? We had Alan. He was an awesome guy, but I forgot what his handle was. He's a real good dude from England.
Kill
Kev, of course, man. We had so many cool people, man, that were in there. You know,
Piano 4 and Piano 5.
Piano 4 and 5 were there. Nikolai was there. Bionic Iguana, that's what his handle was. I don't forget that. That guy's literally like one of the coolest guys. Period. I love that guy. He's such a nice guy.
I've heard. You know what? I've heard. I have never actually met Bionic Iguana, but I've heard he's.
I'm friends with him on social media, and he's a super nice guy. There's so many cool people we've met, and unfortunately, we don't have the chat anymore, man. It's sad.
I blame Cav. I blame Killer Cav for it. Sorry, bud.
He killed it. You know what he saw? He saw what we all saw. You guys know Monday Night Raw Reaction people. They know what we know. We would have the chat filled up, and they're not that we would never embellish. We would never embellish. We usually on a Monday night we might have had 180 to 190 users in chat. I wouldn't make that up. I wouldn't lie about something like that. It was there was about 180 people in there, 180 usernames at one time. I mean, that's a lot of people. We'd scroll through all the chats, and I think it threatened the Thursday Night IMP people. I think it really did. Exactly. And Thursday Night IMP decided we need to take away the steam of the Raw Reaction guys. And we've never recovered since. That's really what happened.
You know what? I think we're still the most viewed or the most listened to podcast.
How? We only broadcast once every 3 weeks.
Yeah, but the thing is, if we get 300 people, we're still probably the most broadcast or the most listened to.
I think we got, the great news is, I'm really excited that since we've done this podcast, Vince Russo now is a weekly listener to our show, which is awesome. But Vince Russo must not get a lot of users because and I don't mean to dog my hero, but do you know he actually suggested on his show that anyone who emails him, he'll let come on the show, that if they want to, on one of his shows, because he does like 5 a week. I mean, that's pretty interesting.
Well, they also said that they had sold out spots for the T-shirt spots. Until they must have sold like 24 T-shirts.
It's not a lot. No, it's October. That means you sold 12 shirts. That's not a lot.
Okay, yeah, you're probably right.
Because think about it, they do that one show in particular that you get on
once a week,
once every Friday. So if they have openings starting in October, dude, 4 weeks generally.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
yeah, you're probably right. Probably 12 to 15 shirts.
They sold 12 freaking shirts. I mean, we're one to talk. I mean, if we had an Angry Tensai Big Dick shirt, we'd sell 2. You'd buy mine and I'd buy yours.
I think Jordan would buy one too.
Alexa Bliss would buy one.
Oh yeah.
But
would buy one. AJ Lee. I think she'd be a fan.
Because she's attainable?
She is very obtainable. Speaking of which, this weekend.
Oh yeah.
It sucks. Sort of. Not really. I'll bring my girlfriend with me. And she is very attainable to me, and also which is a good thing. But I sort of feel like I'm missing out on literally, like, there are many attainable 20 years out of high school chicks who were fucking galaxies out of my league who are now
in your league.
Much more attainable.
Well, you know what I'm going to tell you something, Big Dick, that I've told you behind closed doors that I'm going to share with all 4 of our listeners who are listening to the show. There are 2 great equalizers in life, and this is great for Raw Reaction. Guys, there are 2 great equalizers, and you may not realize this when you're a 16 or 17-year-old boy and you get a second chance like Big Dick is about to get with some of these chippies. There are 2 great equalizers that can equalize any situation in life, especially with women. The 2 C's. The 2 C's. The big C, most specifically. The 2 C's are this. Cash. Cash, of course, is a very, very great equalizer. It's amazing how many maybe not so desirable males are mismatched when cash is involved. But the number one game changer, boys, the big C. If you have the big C, you can change the game versus somebody who is considered a beautiful person. And the big C is charisma. That's right, charisma. If you got the attitude and you believe in yourself and you got the swag, you're all right, bro. You're all right. You'll make things happen. So between the 2 C's, cash and charisma, Big Dick's got those 2 in spades. And that's why it's going to be a big weekend for Big Dick. Oh, wait, he's bringing his girlfriend. So maybe not.
You know what? I'll lay some groundwork down for the next time I'm in Bayville.
You know what? Hey, it's better to be. You never know what's going to happen, so it's better to not be alone. So you'll have fun regardless. But I'm just going to give you initials, and it's not initials of the person; it's initials of the scenario. But my God, I wish I could go and see NK, if you know what I'm saying. NK. Imagine a person I'm thinking of as if they were N, if they were running around N after receiving money.
Oh, yes. Like $50,000 from Mr. Gould.
To get to N, they would need to get $50,000, and then once you gave it to them, they'd become NK, and then I'm happy. But then the propositions would get even crazier. So this is what's going to happen. So I don't want to speak in code, though, because no one knows. And you know what's speaking in code? 205 Live. And I could decode that code for you. It means go to the bathroom, cook yourself some food, because it's a long show. The minute I saw Noam Dar walk down the aisle, I was like, it's time to take a piss. I don't really remember what happened in this match. Did Noam Dar leave Fox? Is that what happened? I think it was. I think I read that.
To be honest with you, I think I might have decided to take a shit for this match.
I actually didn't see that. I'm going to Google that result. It's the only match I didn't see. So I'm going to go Noam Dar Raw results, and let's tell everybody what happened because we didn't actually watch that match. I really did leave. I mean, guys, 3 hours is so hard. I mean, I needed a break, and I could not sit through these guys. They're terrible. I'm gonna find out who it was. It was it was Akira Tozawa and Cedric Alexander versus Neville and Noam Dar. And, it looks like Tozawa got the pinfall. I don't know where I thought Noam Dar left Foxy. I must have read that somewhere.
No, maybe that's real life. Am I the only one who's looking forward to Enzo Amore joining the Cruiserweight division?
Yeah, 205 Live this week, Noam Dar dumped Alicia Fox.
Okay, so you knew what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I want Enzo Amore to be a cruiserweight.
Yeah, I think he'd be awesome. I'd let him beat, with some bullshit finish, but I'd let him beat Neville. I think he'd be awesome as the champ to come out and talk about. Remember how Jericho would say the cruiserweight title was more prestigious than the world title, and then he did it with the TV title too?
Oh yeah,
Enzo's got that personality where he could do that. Enzo clearly,
and that's the only. The thing is, that's the only belt I could see him actually holding, other than a tag team belt.
I could see Enzo being the mouthpiece for Samoa Joe. I think he'd be awesome. Or Braun. I think he'd be amazing with those guys.
You know what? I think you need that. I think you need that as part of the stable. And we don't do stables in WWE anymore. We have the Titus brand. That's a stable of possibly 3 wrestlers. If Apollo Crews or the Asian guy is even on the show.
I think Noam Dar is terrible.
Yeah, I'm not really. You know what? I'm not a big fan, like you said. Cruiserweight division, it's sort of struggling. And losing Austin Aries, I mean, don't get me wrong, he wasn't setting the world on fire. But I also haven't seen Gentleman Jack Gallagher in quite a while.
And I love.
He was by far
too, man. They really took him out. Like seriously, wasn't he right? Like he was hot.
Oh yeah, he was. I mean, he was probably the most popular cruiserweight.
I was so pissed off.
Whatever happened to him? Did they release him, or is he just back in like cruiserweight land?
Neville killed him, dude. Neville comes walking down the aisle, bro. I mean, that guy is just money, dude. I mean, he just looks like just such a badass, dude. I hate to say this out. That I hate to say this because it reminds me of when we used to joke about it, but he looks like a Benoit, dude. I mean, he's got that look to him. I mean, Neville is just so unique looking. I mean, he's so in shape. He's so jacked up. He is a really badass dude, and he's such a good heel. I literally think Neville's one of the best guys they've had in a long time. I mean, if he was a couple inches taller, he'd be world champion for the next 2 years. I mean, I love him. I mean, he is.
Well, and what happened to what's his name? Also, the guy.
My guy.
Yeah, your favorite former cruiserweight with the long hair.
Kendrick. Yeah, he's still around. I think what the thing is, you know, the Brian Kendrick is a strong heel champion, and with Neville in the picture, you can't really book Kendrick in any other scenario than he's going for the title. And I think WWE at this point isn't a fan of heel versus heel. And those guys have huge... Honestly, Kendrick and Neville are two of the only guys that, like, you know, maybe out of 10 people in the Federation that truly have heat. And what's funny about Kendrick is he's got the, like, Alexa Bliss problem. Now, first off, Alexa Bliss gets a huge pop when she comes out. But there are a lot of Alexa Bliss haters. But a lot of people like Alexa Bliss. I think Kendrick has the same problem.
Yeah, I think people like, especially the in-and-know marks, they are fans. And I mean, he was doing the best. He was doing probably the best mic work, probably the best heel work in the cruiserweight division until Neville came.
Oh, he was great. You know, I would have liked to see Kendrick go with Aries, but you know, we're never going to see that now. But as far as Neville goes, I mean, he doesn't get that crossover because he's so good at being a heel. He'll rip apart the town. He'll rip apart the fans and talk about how he's better than us. Look at him. Look at us. I mean, he's a really good heel, man. He knows how to keep that heat on him. And, you know, the cool heel has a hard time drawing in the long run. But speaking
of Benoit, I'm going to see the Benoit Babel this weekend.
Oh, man. No. And speaking of cool heels, Bray Wyatt again beat Seth Rollins. He pokes his eye and hits his sister Abigail. I like continuity. I like that Bray Wyatt beat Seth Rollins 2 times in a row. I like that. I don't like the trading wins. So that's a good thing.
But, yeah. I'm a big fan. Unfortunately, I don't feel like this is going to really develop into anything more for Bray Wyatt, like a championship run or anything major. It might evolve into a battle with somebody who is not a cool face right now, and apparently is getting buried. Finn Balor.
He's not getting buried. He didn't
even make the pre-show last night.
I think they just don't know where to put him, you know? And, you know...
Give him a pre-show match against a Drifter. I mean, that's fine.
But tonight they got a lot of time, Elias Sampson and Balor. I thought the match was really good.
Dude, the biggest highlight for him tonight was walking out of the ring and running into the Hardy Boys and like high-fiving them and shaking their hand and being cool with them. Like that was the most over he got. The problem with these NXT guys, and I've said it before, I'll say it again, is that NXT you have your 5-minute ring introductions where you could go around dressed like the Demon or what is it? The dude with the long hair who got released, who came out with his party posse. Adam Rose. He comes out with his party posse and they do their thing. Same thing, like eventually going to with Nakamura. Like he gets his big lead in at the pay-per-view or the big couple pay-per-views, but on a regular basis, like that's how they're getting people over in NXT with those entrances. And if you start letting Finn Balor go out on a regular basis, or even a semi-regular basis like that, rather than in a fucking leather jacket with the collar popped up, it's going to be a lot fucking cooler. Because all he is with the leather jacket, his collar popped up, is a fucking Cody Rhodes clone. Like and probably an inch or two smaller than Cody Rhodes. Right. He doesn't look big. Don't get me wrong, he's jacked. He's a good technical wrestler, but he's not great on the mic. He does not look the part because he's like 5'10", and it's just not a intimidating look, which is why I think we're seeing him buried. I mean, this was the first Universal Champion less than a year ago. Now he's not even on pay-per-views.
You're right. When you're right, you're right. But
give them their NXT entrances. It'll kill time on Raw, so we don't have to watch shitty matches. And ultimately, I mean, you allow them to build their characters. They don't do it every single time, but I mean, shit. It's like, you know what? Have a longer intro for him. Have a longer intro for Bray Wyatt. Same thing, Robert Roode, Nakamura.
They did have a good match, though, man. They really did. They did have a good match. They got a lot of time. I know a lot of people aren't crazy about the match. I liked the match. I thought it was a good match. And Elias finally put over Finn. So, you know, I mean, Finn lost him like 3 times in a row. So I don't mind a trade back here at some capacity. But it was a good match. Other piece. Enzo and Cass. Cass killed Enzo at the pay-per-view, no surprise. And Cass decided to call out the Big Show, and Big Show certainly wasn't afraid of him. And they went at it, and Cass ran off. What do you think about Cass versus the Big Show?
You know what? I have a bad feeling that Cass is going to get buried at some point.
No way.
And
loves him.
Maybe not against Show, but I think if he starts a feud against like Samoa Joe, or Roman Reigns, or Brock Lesnar, or
Brock Lesnar should beat everyone. I mean, he should beat everyone. No one should ever beat him. Period.
No, you're right, but I'm just saying. I think that I think that Cass. I don't think he's ready to be pushed solo at this point. I mean, he doesn't even have a fucking decent entry song. He's not great on the mic. Not even good on the mic. And shit, he's wearing like a black T-shirt with cut off sleeves as his ring attire.
I agree.
Like, give me a fucking Cass shirt or a Castle shirt or something. Not a fucking black shirt with no sleeves. And poor Enzo. I mean, he's basically stuck in a cruiserweight division from now on.
Right. Well, it's going to be interesting to see kind of where they go from here. I just think with the smaller rosters, we're getting a lot of repeat matches. I'm hoping Braun gets himself into this main event picture just to make things interesting, but who knows?
Yeah, well, the good thing is next pay-per-view is SummerSlam, which is like a month away, and you actually should. I mean, you can get away with doing 4 guys in a match. Like I think it was the last SmackDown pay-per-view. You had 5 or 6 guys on the SmackDown roster in the main event, and the rest of the card was garbage.
Right.
On SummerSlam, I mean, you can put 4 of your top guys in a match, and guess what? You still have tag team matches, you still have a cruiserweight match, you still have tag team match and women's matches from SmackDown and title match from SmackDown and the U.S. Championship and Intercontinental Championship from Raw and SmackDown. So, I mean, I think you can afford to have more guys in a match like that. But,
well,
I don't know. I'm not a huge. I feel like they're sort of killing everything that Finn Balor became.
Well, Finn Balor's got to help himself too, dude. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, but at the same time, I mean, he should be backstage being like, "Dude, let me fucking somebody hit my back up. Somebody hit my back up. I want to go out as fucking a demon."
I agree with you on that. Well, that was pretty much the show in a whole. I mean, there were things I liked.
You know what? We had Seth Rollins and
yeah, we talked about that. Oh, yeah. I forgot during the Miz, Ambrose, and the Mizzies and all that stuff. Yeah. What'd you think of? So Miz had an awards show to give awards to Maurice and the Miz supporters and Wyatt and Axel, or not Wyatt, Wyatt's brother, Bo. But earlier in the night during a match, Dean Ambrose was saved by Seth Rollins, and Dean Ambrose said, "Don't save me, I don't need your help. There's not going to be a Shield reunion." But then Dean Ambrose saves Seth Rollins during that Mizzy segment. Very interesting.
Yeah. You know what? I like it. I'd like to see them get back together. To be honest with you, when we have both those wrestlers right now, I think that a tag team run as faces would not be a bad thing.
No, I think they might work together a little bit, but I don't think Roman's going to be involved just yet. You know.
No, that's why I said a tag team.
I agree with you.
Just the two of them.
Just the two of us building castles in the sky. Just the two of us, you and I. Just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Just the two of us, you and I.
I'm back.
You didn't hear my song?
Can you sing it again?
Just the two of us, building castles in the sky. Just the two of us, you and I. Just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Just the two of us, you and I.
My friend, I'm tearing up. I have a single tear building up in my eye, and it's overpowering me. That was absolutely the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. You have the voice of an angel.
We can make it if we try.
You know what? I think we can. We're halfway there. Living on a prayer.
Is there anything else you want to hear me sing tonight before we get off the air?
Springsteen?
No, I'm thinking more feminine.
You know what song I heard the other day on Sirius that I thought would be a good song for a woman's wrestler?
What?
Remember the band Veruca Salt?
Cannonball?
No, the Seether.
Oh, I don't know much about that song except you can't fight the Seether. You can't fight the Seether. They're the only words I know.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. But that would be a good one for Paige, because it'd be like, instead of the Seether, you can't fight the Del Rio.
Oh man,
you can't fight the
Del Rio. That's awesome. What a tough week for Paige.
Yeah. Well, Paige and Del Rio, because apparently he got caught doing it. So,
my name is Alberto Del Rio, but you already know that.
Dude, he was fucking cool. I hate that they buried him. He was actually a fun wrestler to follow in WWE.
Bro, I don't care what anyone says. All these marks that dreaming of Finny, wishing he was with me. Hey, there goes Sammy, and he's hailing a cab.
I think he's driving a cab.
Whatever. They're both the same, whatever. So those two jabrones, I don't care what anyone says, but when the League of Nations was together, Sheamus, Wade Barrett, Rusev, and Del Rio, how did the writers mess that up? That should have been a legendary faction. I'm sorry. That is just literally...
There were three champions in there, I think. Wait, yeah, three. Sheamus, Del Rio, and Barrett. And the only non-champion was Del Rio.
Barrett was never a world champion. He was an Intercontinental and a U.S. champion.
Well, you know what? Even so, I think the problem with that was
they're all super decorated guys.
Yeah, I think the problem with that was they didn't have a true leader to it. to the faction. I mean, if they had somebody, even a announcer or a manager or something, I think they would have been a lot better. But they didn't have it. There wasn't a clear pecking order. Like, all right, who's the leader? It's like with the Four Horsemen. Who's the leader? Ric Flair. With the League of Nations, I mean, if make Del Rio the leader. I think it does a lot better because then he can put the other guys in tag team matches and lesser title matches and stuff like that, and he could chase after a title. And they didn't. That's the thing. They never elevated one person more than another. I mean, put Barrett and Sheamus together on a tag team.
I'm with you.
Then if Rusev chased like the IC strap and Del Rio chased the championship. That's the thing they never did. They never had defined roles. So it's like, okay, who's the leader?
They can't fight this either.
No, you cannot fight this either.
You won't win honestly, guys, if you fight this either, you're not going to win. I don't know. I'm just letting you know. You can't fight it.
I'm taking notes. My good friend Veruca told me about that.
You're listening to The Raw Reaction on the Angry Marks Podcast Network.